And so if you don't have a skill in this, just trying to parlay your what you want off of something else or someone else,
Gotcha.
it's only gonna mess you up in the long run.
Big Boy's Neighborhood. Beautiful day in the neighborhood,
Yes,
ladies
it
and
is.
gentlemen. If you know, you know. If you don't, consider this an introduction.
Hello.
Austin Brown, welcome to the neighborhood, bro.
Austin?
Man, thank you so much for having me.
Man, it's my pleasure to have you in the neighborhood, man. And there's so much that we got to cover today.
A lot.
And I'm telling you, man, when I know just the bloodline, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bloodline that I don't know if you use the bloodline like you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Now, but Rebbie is your mom, Rebbie Jackson.
Yes.
All righty. And Rebbie Jackson, of course, is from the almighty Jacksons.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been into music? Well, you know what? That's a stupid question. I guess it's been in your whole life.
Yeah. Music's been around me since I can remember, from the jump. But I could say that when I started really developing my own personal relationship with it is probably when I started learning how to produce. I started very young. I started when I was 10.
Right.
My brother-in-law had a studio at the time, and he had the whole, MPC setup, the little chords and everything. And he showed me sequencing. And so as soon as I can learn how to sequence, and
At what age?
I was 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, because there was a piano around the house, so I would go to the piano and I would hit like little triad chords and stuff. And I realized what I was into for me was I like chord structures. I like sounds and putting them together. And so once my brother-in-law Rex Salas taught me how to like put actual structures together, then I could say my own relationship with music came into play, and the reality of what that was for me really came into play. I have found my own.
But growing up, did you know you were a Jackson?
My name is Austin Brown.
Yeah.
So, I had two really amazing parents. My
Right.
father,
Rest in
Nathaniel
peace,
Brown.
right?
Yeah, and he actually started the first black-owned driving school in Southern California,
Come
Ace
on
Driving
now.
School. So and then my mom, being who she is, in front part of my, the Jackson family. But they met at 10 and they married at 18 and 19.
Gotcha.
So I had a pretty balanced life. My dad was the one who was waking up at 5 in the morning, going to work every day, coming home at 7, grinding and working. When they got married, they moved to Murray, Kentucky. And so that's when around the time when my mom's family started becoming successful. And so then my grandma and grandpa asked my mom to come out to LA to try to be a part of what was going on in the family business. But my grandfather was old school, so they weren't going to make
Wait,
it
you mean
easy.
grandfather like Papa Joe Jackson?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes,
Super
sir.
old school. So he was already kind of upset with my dad for taking my mom away from the nest early, and so they had to grind it out, and so that's what.
And what year are we talking about, Austin?
So it was long before I was born. My parents had me late. So my parents, they got married in the late '60s, and this was around the '70s.
Wow. Okay,
when-
so we're thinking. So when you write that timeline out, you're writing a timeline before like a lot of things popped.
Yeah,
right.
It was before a lot of things popped. So my parents met when they were 10, and so they saw, like, my dad saw everything from the jump. The first talent show that the J5 had,
Right.
my dad and my uncle Andrew were in that talent show.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Damn.
they watched the whole thing, coming up. So when they moved to California, my grandfather was like, "Well, shoot, Rebbie, you could come in, and be a part of the family show, and you can, but we ain't gonna make it easy for y'all." So my dad grinded, and so I got to see a healthy balance of, what it took to actually really make it in the field and work hard in the
Right.
in the craft,
Just
and,
in life.
yeah. But then my dad was a grinder, man, worked every day. So I think I had a healthy balance.
Right. So
You
it would almost be tacky and borderline disrespectful if you just tried to latch on to a Jackson name that you've never used before.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, I'm very thankful for
Right.
my family. They have been amazing, and to be able to watch hard work like that up front it shows you a pathway.
Yeah.
It shows you, I got to put in this. I got to really, in order to level up to something, you got to really show that you can be, and you can put your work ethic towards that.
And you know what, man? That's very noble as well. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, dude, like my government name is Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I was going by Kurt Jackson. My last name is not Jackson. I was just using it like, oh, man, and I'm just naming like, yeah, Marlon's my uncle, and you know what I'm saying? I'm just doing anything, but no, that name and that relationship, is it a gift and a curse?
Well, I think with anything in life is how you look at it and it's how
Gotcha.
you use it. And
Gotcha.
so you have to look at yourself. You ain't no different than anybody else. And if anything, if you latch on to something that's already in existence, then you're going to really fall in that line, in that platform.
Right.
For me, music was always a deep relationship. I mean, I said by the time I really started learning how to produce was around the time I was 10. Or around that time, I'm born and raised in California. So I'm listening to you every day on the
Thank
radio.
you.
And so the music that you're playing at the time, from DJ Quick to Dr. Dre to all those producers and all those guys who I was hearing every day sonically, that's how I started forming my own thing at that time. So you can apply a certain work ethic and see, okay, so if you do this consistently, you could be like this, but what's my own relationship?
Gotcha.
What am I bringing to the table? You know, how can I parlay that into not only my artistry, but then to help other artists? Because I just always wanted to just be a part of music and be a part of the community and add what I had to express to that field.
How do you become your own with such a strong lineage and a strong background? Because when you say the Jacksons, you're thinking of everybody. Somebody will say Michael. I'm thinking of your mom, Rebbie. I'm thinking of LaToya. I'm thinking of Randy, Marlon, Jackie, Tito. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking of this family. But you made sure that by design you did this. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to somebody else that would just try to latch on to it. Why was it so important for you to be Austin Brown?
It's first of all recognizing that those aren't your accomplishments.
Right.
So
gotcha.
I'm no different than all of us in this room, where you're looking at something, you're like, yo, if I love music, you can't help but to be inspired by great artists. And so in that lineage, they've made such amazing art. And so if I was to look at it as a quilt, if I'm going to add on to that quilt, why am I going to add on a stitch where I can't even add on the texture that's already there? Because I don't have that. That's not my spirit. That's not my aura. And so I love this expression so much. This is my art form. This is what I do. And so to be authentically me, you got to go through the steps and the process and everything to be able to stand up and be like, yo, I'm in a room with my peers and I hold my own.
Right.
And it's always been, when people have found that out, it's always like, damn, why didn't you didn't say that?
You don't run in saying that.
Because it's not mine I didn't do that stuff. I watched it just like everybody else.
Were you close to it?
Yes.
Right.
In the sense of I had a close seat to see how it was done.
Right.
And so that allows you to see the work ethic and
So
apply
you
what it really
learned
means.
from that.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
1,000%. And I can say that my relatives were very open in showing me what their process was, never hushed away, but also weren't going to be like, well, here you go do this. No,
Right,
it wasn't
right.
like that at all, by no means. And I'm thankful that it wasn't, because I always had an expression that I had to say. I always had something of my
Of your own.
of my own, because you only can sustain if you got a skill. No matter what in life, we have to be a part of this system. You know what I'm saying? And so you help this, we help this. We all are part of something, and our skills are utilized for the greater good. And so if you don't have a skill in this, just trying to parlay your what you want off of something else or someone else,
Gotcha.
it's only gonna mess you up in the long run.
Gotcha.
Because when you got to really show up and show out, you got nothing. You got nothing.
Yeah, like,
You know.
get all exposed.
Yeah, nah.
But you were you able? You kept enough privacy. You were able to be close enough and distant enough.
Yeah, and I could say that was also by design with
Yeah.
my parents. And again, I can't say enough about my father. Watching that man wake up at 5 a.m. and work, come home working 7 days a week. When you're starting your own business, you got to grind. You got to build that. He's from Gary, Indiana.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So there was no free lunches for anybody. And so I got to watch what real work ethic looked like, to be consistent and to watch somebody do something every day. Just that follow
In your
through.
household.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had a real hero.
Yeah.
You know how some people say, oh, man.
Jamaican.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, he had all of them there.
Yeah, I'm Jamaican.
Oh,
dad's
my
Jamaican,
Lord.
So that's all we know is grind and work.
But you know what? I get people all the time that say, man, what were your influences? Who were your role models? And I was like, man, I didn't have to, because it was my mom.
Right.
I saw my mom get up every day and go to work. And I saw my mom not buy new shoes, put polish on her shoes. And I saw the work ethic. So I didn't have to go out. Anybody else, this isn't a diss to anyone, but I didn't have to go out and say, oh, Muhammad Ali or this or that, which is cool. But I just didn't have to. The same way you said, I saw you came back to your father so many times.
Because that's who it was.
Yeah, man.
That follow through of seeing that is what allowed me to put that into music. So I'm a perfect mix of both. Because my mom worked her butt off too.
Man.
She worked hard, would leave on weekends, go play, but then would always make sure she was present for my sisters and I. And so watching the work ethic really is what made me look at it different.
How do you not get jaded by such a family and such a, like everybody, like how do you not get jaded? How do you not use that?
I'm Michael's nephew.
Yeah.
Use it all day, bro.
You don't get jaded by just realizing that.
Hey, dude, I smooth thought you were about to make up a song right now. Hey, man, I got all quiet, Austin. I was like,
well, I was going to. So you take my money.
Uh-huh.
You get jaded by being consistent. You don't get jaded by being consistent. That's what it is. I didn't get jaded because I stayed consistent. There was a greater good for me to do what I wanted to do. When you get jaded, it's because you have an expectation. My expectation was to just get better. That's all it was. If you have an if you feel like you deserve to be somewhere,
right?
If you feel like something is bestowed on you, then you're gonna get jaded.
And just because, and I should.
And that was really, for me, that's what it was. I never allowed myself to look at that in a different way. I never. That was for me. I watched my dad and my mom go through ups and downs, and so when you see those things in life happen, it makes you realize that nothing is promised for anybody. And so if you have that entitlement, you're going to get jaded.
Right.
If you realize that, man, we are all just people trying to make it in this world, trying to do what we do, you're not going to get jaded. You're just going to continue following on your course.
Hey, man. And you say your dad was the first black.
So he aced driving school. If you look it up, it's still going till today before my dad sold it. But he started the first black-owned driving school in Southern California.
That's hell of a. Hey, man, you ever got a ticket?
Yeah, I got a crazy.
Yo, disrespectful ass.
I know, dog.
Hey, dude, I know your dad had to be like, Austin, really? Like, man. Yeah, but I guess that's because you're human.
Yeah,
it's literally because we are all human, and it's funny because that's such a good question about being jaded, because I've been asked. I've seen so many peers of mine and so many friends of mine who have been in this, and they just get upset and they get jaded. And you realize that there's nothing to be upset and jaded about if you love the process, you just keep going.
Yeah, man. And you got to think, man, as we're sitting here now, am I doing a deep dive with you as well? This isn't, how people say that you're not new to this, you true to this. Like, you've been in this business
a long time.
Yeah, man. And I could say professionally, decades now. You know what I'm saying? And this is our first sit down.
I know.
So, but that shows you that even with me, I've been in radio 31 years, right? And I can meet a new listener every day. Every day. Because I continue to do the work.
Exactly.
And I love doing the work.
It's the process.
Yeah, man.
And for me, like, I got to say this here. For me personally, this is my I made it moment.
Wow.
Because being able to talk to you authentically and to have this conversation and to finally earn this moment to sit here, I'm good.
Yeah. And when your name popped up, man, I wanted to have a conversation with you.
Thank you.
Because I enjoy having conversation. And people say, oh, an interview. But like, no, I just like, I like to talk. And there's just some things that you get a different insight on. And this will be some people's introduction to you as well as the neighborhood. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And even with your mom, man, your mom, Rebbie Jackson, she knew enough. She was in enough and knew how to separate herself enough.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There was this norm to her that so much is going on. And you got to think, you were born in what, 85? So you're like Thriller and Bad, all this.
Yeah, from what I can remember, the time that I remember was really bad era. I didn't remember that
Right,
much
right.
about Thriller. I know when my mom's, it might parlay into something because my mom, her record Centipede, when
man.
that was really
That was my joint
going,
too.
she was pregnant.
You know, I
with
had a
me
crush
at
on
the
your
time.
mother.
Hey,
In a nice way, a kid. I'm a kid. I'm a kid. So when she did the Centipede video, were you in there? And a centipede is
I don't know
hot.
if I was in there yet,
Oh, okay.
but I knew I was coming.
I heard that, bro.
I was coming.
But there's this thing, man, where people say, "Oh, it's written," and I believe in it's written. You know, but there's a thing where I tell people, I say, "Man, it is written," because it could have been written for you because the family. All right, that's one thing. But then at some point in life, when we talk about it's written, you come to a blank page, and that blank page is where you start to write what the rest of the book look like. And I think that's where you are, where it was written. Oh yeah, but then you come to this blank page and you're just like, well, what's my identity? What's my truth? What do I write in this chapter, the next chapter, the chapter over? And God willing, we're living this book.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
1000%.
we're living the book, man. And I always tell people, man, what do you do between that dash?
Exactly.
And the dash is the year you're born, that dash, and the year you pass. When you live in the dash, what do you do during that dash? And right now we're all living our dash right now. And it depends on what you're doing. And the music that you're doing and the things that you do for the community and the way that you continue to uplift, not try to uplift, that's a whole different mission in the dash already, bro, especially where we are in this world right now.
Thank you, man.
It's so easy to be disrespectful. It's so easy to just, be hateful. You know what I'm saying? So you need this kind of music and this kind of person and this kind of light and this kind of love. And that's why I wanted to sit down with you.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man, because you do this and sometimes you feel like what you're doing is not really being seen or being heard all the way. And that could get tough.
Yeah, I know.
Because we love what we do. And so you want it to connect in the most authentic way, but you don't realize it is, and people are listening. It just might not appear the way that you feel it's going to appear. I mean, I really feel I manifested this moment because, like I said, I've seen you in passing through the years, and it happened when it was meant to happen.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. And I always tell people as well, I say, man, I've had people, Austin, that say, man, one day I'm going to be in there. And I say, you know what? I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it. And we hadn't had that conversation, but you said you already manifested it, like, it's going to happen.
Yeah, because you were part of such a massive point of my life, hearing those songs at that age, hearing you be so open, even from your crank calls. But in the art, what I loved about what you did is that you always gave respect to the producer.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You always said who was on the track. You always said who the remix was. You always pointed out who might have been in on it. I was always that dude who loved the producers.
But you know what? That's me, Austin. Like, I'm a credit reader. I enjoy texture. Like, even at a movie theater.
Yeah.
I'll be the last one to walk out because I want to see everything. I want to see it all. And also, I'm such a credit. Like I would hold albums and I would read everything on the album, even to the wax and the acetate. They used to write messages, and like I studied that. Yeah. So when I would listen to music, I would sonically listen to music float from the pan from left to right. I listened to music different because at one point that's all I had. You know what I'm saying? That's the only consistent thing that I had in my life was when we were homeless, I had music. When we were living, in a 2-bedroom with 8 of us, I had music. When we had a 3-bedroom, I had music. When I was 8, I had music. When I always had this thing that I could put on headphones because there's 8 of us in the household. So it wasn't like I was banging music.
So your house at 8.
You're
like
my mom and 7 kids.
Yeah, my mom's 9.
Yeah, man, yeah. And I would just, that was my getaway.
Wow.
And I could paint these vivid pictures just from listening to music, bro. And even now, I'll watch a video, and sometimes I don't even like watching videos because I have a different picture in my head of the video and what the visuals are and what it felt like to me. So I don't want to disrespect this artist, but he got such a beautiful song. And when I saw the video, I was like, they didn't give you your vision. I know you wanted to do this video, but they didn't give you your vision. And I understand that with you being a new artist, when they said we're shooting a video, you was like, oh, okay. but it wasn't the video. Like I know he didn't write that song saying I want to be in a lowrider in an alley.
Yeah.
It's not that song.
No.
Yeah, man. So you got to paint the picture yourself, bro.
It's crazy because you have to paint the picture, but what you got to realize, but what's so important that I think people forget is that you have to also figure out a way to find your brushes. You could paint the picture in your mind, but then you got to learn the skills to find your brushes to be able to actually physically paint the picture.
Gotcha.
And that's another key to it. It's that when you actually surrender and walk the path and do the work, then you get these brushes, then you get these little tools that you have.
I was going to ask you, you don't mind the long road, huh?
You know what? I hated it.
Right.
But what I didn't realize, what I didn't realize when I was younger was that, nah, man, everything that you're learning along this journey, you're going to need for everything you saw in your mind for what you were going to be.
Yeah.
So I might have couldn't stand it and I wanted it immediately, but for what I wanted to separate myself and be Austin Brown, I had to do it that way.
Right.
There was no other way.
Did it get dark too? You know, because you can have music.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another thing called the music business and the acceptance and all that. So the music was there. But when you get a little dark or you get a little like, what are those moments like? And what brought you to that?
What brought me to that, my darkest moments must have been around it was around my transition in the sense of there was a moment where it was like artistry. I was always producing. I was always making my own records, but it was very focused on me. And then around 2013, my dad passed away. And it was right in the middle when I was in the middle of touring and doing a lot of stuff. And I just didn't have the bandwidth to keep on going. It just
Understood.
I kind of just, my gas tank was really, really low. And you just kind of feel like, damn, I can't really push through this. And so at that point, I did two things. I wrote this song that when I'm down, I try to write about what I want. And then that kind of helps me through it. I'll do a verse of this.
Please do.
It's called Smile. Oh, it seems like you've been listening, 'cause you've been acting out my words. No, I see you dancing, laughing, and you're singing out my song. I do for you. I love to see you smile. I feel like every show you're right here. I see you in the corner of my eyes. Girl, you make me feel so good. I just want to live up on stage and sing to you. I love to see you smile. Whoa, I'll be back sometime. Always keep that in mind. I'll hold you in my arms. I'm gonna tell you one more time. I do for you. I love to see you smile. I do for you. I love to see you smile. So that kind of
Oh my God, bro. You got to give me a moment. That was beautiful.
Thank you, bro.
Wow.
That was like it was my lowest moment, and I just wanted to feel good again.
Yeah.
That's it. I just wanted to feel good, and that's where that came from.
It's wild because when you say your lowest moment, you wanted to feel good again, right? And I want to tell you straight up, I haven't heard the song. But in your lowest moment, wanting to feel good, do you know just how good you made me feel right now?
Oh, man. Thank you, bro.
That is crazy, bro. And that's what music is.
Yeah. It's bare bones.
Oh, my God.
And I had nothing else. So you have nothing else. You just have your people who's choosing to stick around and support. And then you just have your acts, and then whatever God wants to share with you. And so at that moment, I'm asking for some upliftment.
Right.
And then it was that. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to just give it away. I want to just work with whoever. I have a really good friend of mine who's he produced on my record, The Festival. That's going to be coming out April 22nd.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you, bro. His name's D-Mile. And he's done amazing records. You guys can look him up. Just look his name up. He's everywhere. But he says, Austin, I'm at a point where I just want to work with anybody who wants to work with me.
Gotcha.
And then he surrendered, and then his life started really forming and turning around in so many ways. And it was the same thing with me. I just wanted to work with anybody who wanted to work with me, and I just wanted to give it away. Like, I just wanted to give my art away. If you want to be in this with me, I will surrender, and we could do this together, and I just want to give it away. Just having my folks that I collaborated with, and that was how I got out of those dark years.
Yeah.
It's just giving it away and surrendering.
Surrender's a powerful word, bro.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful word. It's like it's really almost a, man, let go, let God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah. And if you listen, the path opens up. It just might not be the way you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
It just sucks. You're like, dang.
Yeah, man. Again?
I just did all this work and now I gotta walk again. Well, you know what? Let me frame that. Now I get to walk again.
Yeah.
Because I can.
Yeah, but you know what, man? Austin, it do take some time to get there too.
Yeah.
And everybody has a different time or a different understanding. You know, there's some people always say, there's some people that get it like a light switch.
Yes.
Me, I'm more of a dimmer. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, I'm more of a like, okay, now I get it. And I think to me, the dimmer is a little bit better for me.
Yeah.
That's what always kind of worked for me. You know, you do get these aha. But I remember my mom passed. And when my mom passed, like this Ida Son tattoo, that's the only tat I got. I got that before my mom passed. My mom was my everything. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one day I was driving home from work and my mom had already passed. And it was probably 10 years after my mom passed, Austin. And I literally said, I get it.
Yeah.
And I was just driving. And in the quiet, I was like, damn, I get it.
Yeah.
I get the hard work. I get the sacrifice. I get the why I lost you, why you taught me certain things. You know, all these things that you were able to put in this belt of mine.
Yeah.
And at certain points, I knew how to, okay, that's why I did this. The original Karate Kid. The original Karate Kid, you would watch that, and I don't know if anyone here has seen the original. It's like Mr. Miyagi with Daniel's son. He had him cleaning cars and doing this and doing that. And wax on, wax off. And he's like, man, you not even taught me anything. You're just having me clean these cars and do this. And then when it came time, when he would yell out wax on, it was a block. It was this.
Exactly.
So that's what I learned. I was like, that's what that meant.
Exactly.
That's why I went through this. That's this moment. And the clarity of the light dimmer and being able to say, okay, I got it now.
I'm going to keep that one, the light dimmer and the clarity within the light dimmer and you actually recognizing it.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing.
It takes a while to recognize.
It takes a while to recognize it. I didn't recognize it for a long time. I just knew, I'm like, dang, I'm getting better. I'm accumulating all of that. And then what you said about how with your mother, you understood why things happened and why the pieces fell for you to be where you were. And that's what it was for me. As things started happening and moments started kind of showing themselves, it got out of being just about me.
Right.
You realize that I'm a part of this whole entire community and I want to show what I can bring to the table. So if you need other people to recognize where you are, how do you expect to get it if you're only centered on self?
Right.
That doesn't even make sense.
Hey, man, and at one point, we used to be able to, you know, depend on others. It didn't look weak. We you know, because now so many are on an I and me as opposed to a us and we. You know, there's power in us and we.
There's more power in us and we because we build through community.
Yeah, man.
And we stay together through community.
What's the Royal Factory?
Ooh, okay. So the Royal Factory for years was really more so. It was back in the day a label that I had. Well, more so community with my friends. It was just people. We were a new generation who just wanted to do good things and keep, you know, building it out and keep replacing it and keep doing what we're doing again. And then that parlayed into what we made was Canyon Sessions. Canyon Sessions was a thing I did with my friends where I lived in the canyon for a while. And so I wanted to do shows. I put this album out called Canyon Sessions and it was all acoustic. And I'm like, yo, we need a way to just do shows, like get our friends together. And so what ended up happening was that we said, hey, let's do a thing where it's all of us and we have to do something where it's like if we didn't have electricity. Everyone shows up with their instruments and we just sing. And so it started with 35 people coming to my friend's backyard, and everybody would I made sure everybody was quiet, because if someone's expressing themselves, don't you laugh, don't talk over them. Yo, they got their instrument there. They're trying to show their heart. This might be their first time playing. They've never had an audience before. Give them that grace. Give them that attention. And it started, and it just kept growing. Then all of a sudden, from 35 people to 400 people started showing up, and people just wanted to hear everyone's expression.
Organic people.
Organic people. This was one of the ones that I used to play there a lot. This is called Slow Down. I'll go into a couple seconds of it. It's cool.
Oh, please do.
I cannot deny it. She's been on my mind. Work hard every day. So many ways to say that she's all I need. 'Cause she's all I need. So slow down, realize just what we have. So slow down, realize what we has in the past. Sorry for what I said. Love's in the heart, not the head. I never meant to make you cry. Long as you know that you're mine, 'cause she's all I need. 'Cause she's all I need. Oh, slow down, realize just what we, so slow down, realize what we has in the past. Slow it down, my love. Hey. Sorry, my morning voice is still.
I was about
there.
to say, this dude ain't had no tea, no honey, no hot water.
I'm getting there.
Oh my God, man! I'm telling you, dude. Even your voice, I don't know why, man. You got this thing that I'm telling you, man. There's some Michael Jackson, like when I hear that too. For some reason, I wanted to hear you sing like "Lady in My." I was about to start just pushing buttons on you. I was about to put a whole playlist. I'm about to jukebox you right now, man. Did you ever cover any Michael Jackson when you were younger, or
no?
By this on purpose?
Nah, on purpose, no.
Wow.
No. I never did.
Did. And you know what? Did. That's so smart early on, because that could have been to somebody else low hanging fruit.
I was trying to get into like, if I can reach the stars. I was into pour one down for you. Shine it on my heart, so you can see this too. And this love I have inside is everything it seems. But now I find it's only in my dream. If I can change the world, I'll be the sunlight in your universe. You would think our love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world.
Hey, man, let me tell you, bro. You know, I tried to play guitar. But then Wycliffe was like, he said, man, you got to make it through this period where you callous your hands up, you get certain things. And I'm telling you, man, if I could have just me and a guitar, like, and I'm talking about like butt naked in nature somewhere, I would be the wrong one. But is that like your solace as well?
Yeah, well, shout out to, I got to tell you the story. It was my Uncle Tito.
Oh, man, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Oh. He gave me my first guitar when I was 10. I still have it. And he showed me my first major chord. So he showed, my fingers weren't big enough to do like a bar major chord. So he showed me it in the first root position. So my first songs were very...
Woo! From the coaster, love roller coaster, child. Ow! Sugarfoot. Yeah. Hey, man.
So it was that type of rhythm. I was into the rhythm first.
So Tito gave you your first guitar?
Yeah, he gave me my
first
guitar.
And, man, we just recently lost Tito Jackson, man. And let me tell you, bro, like Tito... he would do the show anytime you see any of the Jacksons. Mm-hmm. But Tito was one also I would kind of like text it, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember, man, I don't even know if I can't even go into the story right now. But I'll let it pass.
No,
but
thank you.
Yeah.
We got to do a thing together. Me and my Uncle Tito, we got to sing a song together, and I got to interview him and talk to him.
Yeah, I saw the interview.
And it was so cool, man, because I would love to hear your story, even if it's when you tell it after. But let me tell you, when I asked him, I was like, Uncle Tito, I really want to talk to you, man. You gave me my first guitar. I just really would love to be able to just speak to you and give you your flowers. And you know what he says to me, man? He says, Augie, that's what my family calls me. It's my nickname. He says, I'm honored you would even ask me. My Uncle Tito said
that. Man, you Tito Jackson. Hell yeah.
Like, that just shows you he was such a humble
Such
giant.
An innocence too, bro.
Such a humble giant, and didn't ever think more of himself. I said, Uncle Tito, how do you keep it in check? You've always kept it in check. He says, you just got to stay yourself.
Yeah, man.
Keep your feet planted. It's not hard to be yourself.
And you toured with 3T as well?
When I was a kid. Yo, wow, man. You
really? Man.
So shout out to my cousins, Taj, Tro, and TJ.
Yeah, man.
When I was a kid, they allowed me to come on the road with them and to get that first experience and to really see it. Like, I'd been out with my mom, but being able to see my cousins doing their thing and out there was really, really cool. And it opened my eyes a lot. That's when I first really I just knew. I'm like, I want to tour. I want to do it.
Right.
I have to.
Did you know what you wanted, though? Did you want the fame and the screams, or did you want the music, or both?
I thought at first it was both.
Right.
But I realized I was obsessed with the music.
Right.
I wanted to be able to. I wanted to play. I wanted to be around the guys. I would always beeline for the musicians room.
Gotcha.
Whenever I was backstage at any of the concerts, I was always beelining to go see. Well, shout out Lil Jon, the drummer. Shout out Eric Daniels, Rex Salas. Shout out Cornelius Mims. All the guys.
Is that Corny?
Yeah,
oh,
you know
my.
Corny.
What?
Man, Corny, a legend.
Yeah,
legend.
man.
Shout out Corny, man. One of the
Were you ever around
Greg
Greg Filler Games?
Of course.
Mouse,
yeah. Was around Mouse. Shout out to those geniuses. And those guys were really the Sonics. People don't give enough praise, I think, and credit to the guys who created the Sonics that we dance to every single day. I think it's very easy to shine the light on the ones who were in front. Huge shout out to Quincy Jones, who that's a whole nother story.
You ever met Quincy?
To tell you the truth, Big, Quincy was the one who I can say out of anybody I've been blessed enough to be around who I had a relationship, Quincy Jones changed my life the most.
Damn.
He was the one that I got to be able to get around him because of Chris Tucker, actually. I met Chris when I was a kid, when I was 12 years old. He always tells this story. He was friends with my Uncle Jermaine, so we were we would see him from time to time, and he would pick
Wait,
me.
Chris Tucker was friends. The Chris Tucker we know?
Yeah, he was.
He was friends with Jermaine Jackson? Because I would
First.
always see.
No, he was.
Whoa.
He was Jermaine's friend first.
Because I would always see him with Michael, of course.
No, he met Jermaine first. Jermaine was the one that brought him around, and Chris picked me to be on his basketball team. He said, "You the darkest Jackson, so I'm gonna pick you."
right. Hell, you almost look like twins if you took the dread. You know what I'm saying?
That's my spiritual brother. But lo and behold, I'm like, bro, it's not a basketball for me, it's a guitar. So
Yeah.
I'm like, but met him, and we just grew a friendship over the years, and so he was how I actually was able to form a relationship with Quincy. He brought me around Quincy.
So Chris Tucker brought you around Quincy when you had all this Quincy Jones on the other side with family.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this was how you were supposed to meet
Yeah,
Quincy Jones.
yeah.
Not
And
through Randy, not through Mark, not through any Jackson.
it was with Chris, and I'm so thankful that he gave me that gift, and I call it a gift because when I got around Quincy, the first thing he did was like, "Man, so do you know your theory? Do you know your books? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, what's music for you?" And he gave me a list of books to read. First thing he said, he's like, "Okay, you need to read Miles Davis, the Quincy Troop autobiography." He says, "You need to read Mr. S, the story of George Jacobs. It's a story about Frank Sinatra's driver. Salinsky Scales, Structures and Melodic Patterns. It's a book on musical theory." And he just gave me like the road less the traveled less road. I think
The road less traveled?
the road less travel. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
And those are the books that he said.
Do you know around what year this is?
So he's giving me this. This was around 2013.
Gotcha.
2012, 2013. So I had started putting out music. I was kind of going, but my
And you already had a lot of life.
yeah, I had a lot of life. I was early 20s, so I was
Right.
like, yeah. So I had a lot of life, and it was sheer ability. It was just all ability. It was all instinct, but there wasn't a lot of structured theory put in
Right.
place. It was all ability. I'd taken lessons when I was a kid. I'd been in jazz class in school and all that, but there was never like closed in attention on the why and the how and the history. It was just
Did you read those books?
I read them all.
Wow.
Only one I didn't work on yet was the Salinsky Scales and Melodic Patterns. That's a different book because that's a theory book. So I've been really kind of through the years going through that. But immediately, why he gave me those books was a suggestion was those opened my mind so much musically. Just the Miles Davis book alone. If you're a music lover, this lets you, it's like a blueprint on every single musician who you saw, from Dexter Gordon to Sonny Rollins to John Coltrane to Herbie Hancock to the great drummer Tony Williams. They're all talking about how they got better at their instruments, playing together, shedding together. It allows you to have, he gave me books that really allowed me to see outside of myself.
This is before Canyon Sessions?
This was before all of it.
Right.
And so it blew my mind because he showed me what it was to really form your own relationship with music and be humble. Quincy has this saying, humility with your creativity, grace with your success. And so it allowed me to see the process of actually what a real producer is. It's not just about your own abilities. It's being able to recognize the greatness in others and to be able to create a balance to where everyone feels comfortable to facilitate their creativity. And so that's what it was. He was just very, very keen on me understanding it. If you really want this, understand it, you know?
And you know what happens now, man, and however people get into business now, but there's a lot of microwave. You know, there's not a lot of, oven or slow cooked, and I mean, it's today's climate, but you can hear your passion in your music. You can hear there's a difference between I play music and there's a difference between like I am music and music is me.
Yes.
And you would play it for free to whatever you get paid for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Regardless of where you are,
Yeah.
who you're around.
Anywhere in the world.
I'm going to be doing this regardless.
Yeah.
So I might as well try to make it work the best way possible. And when you have that mentality, I think the universe hears you and opens it up for you. You're doing yourself a disservice in ways if you don't allow yourself time to grow and learn what you're doing, because you have more of a pathway when you learn these things. And thankfully, I was able to talk to Quincy Jones in that moment. And that's where I can say I've been so blessed to be a part of the family I was from and the access that I have, because to be able to ask someone a question like that, or to say, well, then how do you, as a jazz producer, create the greatest selling pop album of all time?
Come on.
How do you do that when everyone was only looking at you in a certain way? And he says, if you have a hard worker, you have some of the best songs that you could write and put an artist in a place to where they could fully be free. It doesn't matter what genre it is, because it's the 12 notes.
Did you see that picture right there?
I did when I walked in.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy. That's me and Uncle Mike right there. Your uncle, not mine. I wish.
Is this can I guess the year?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it a 2007, 8, 9? No, it's not 9. It's like 6, 7 probably.
Where are we? I gotta figure it out.
You were in Vegas, right? For the
Well, Vegas was around way before 2006 too, honey. Yeah.
will.i.am was doing something around that time.
Yeah,
no?
it was right. We were talking about the Thriller 25.
Okay.
Yep. So Thriller's I'll figure it out. But that was a magic moment too. Sitting with Michael Jackson, bro. And it's crazy because even when you were about what year?
2008, February 9.
Okay.
It could be that. Yep.
Yeah.
But damn, I heard that. Why? By my shirt? No.
No, I could tell by him.
Right.
Yeah, I know him.
Right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He was looking like, yeah. I thought you were looking at me like, yeah, big you lost some weight, but
No.
you're quite where you are now. But I guess you could tell by your uncle then.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
I thought you was analyzing and looking at me. But you grew up Jehovah's Witness.
Yes, I did.
Hey, man, and I saw a breakdown of what your uncle MJ, Michael Jackson, did for Christmas. Can you explain that?
Okay.
Tell that story.
So, yes, I did grow up Jehovah's Witness. That was a whole nother thing. a lot of
That's a whole nother interview. Huh?
That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother sit down.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of breaking through from that. But so I didn't grow up with holidays. I didn't grow up celebrating anything. I didn't celebrate my birthday for the first time until I was 21. Just wasn't. You don't miss what you don't have.
Right.
And so, my uncle and my aunt, they would, when Christmas was around, my other cousins would get gifts with Christmas gifts and wrapping and all that stuff. And so on the low, when I would be up there would be a few gifts with my name on it with no Christmas wrapping over it to the side.
Gotcha.
And they'd say, don't tell your mom.
Right. And this is Uncle.
This is Michael.
And you say Aunt?
And Janet.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah, they were very, I got to say, they both were very cognizant of just made sure that I felt included and made sure I felt a part of it and didn't miss out on anything. I must say, as I was growing up, even though they were incredibly busy, they were very there and attentive in many ways. And all my aunts and my uncles, they were all incredibly kind, and I'm thankful for that.
I heard, and you remember times. You remember times like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I grew up very. My mom's the oldest, so my mom really, I would say, in a lot of ways, is kind of like the second Kate. They call her Kate number 2.
Yeah.
And so she's
like
always
a mommy figure.
Yeah, and she raised everybody and was there taking care of everybody. So there's a closeness for her with all her brothers and sisters, and so I saw a lot of my aunts and my uncles.
Man, talk to me about the new album, The Festival.
Ooh, so the festival really started culminating around that time of 2013. Songs, I started working on songs from then. It was around the time when my dad died. In between, I released other projects,
Right.
just because I just couldn't really finish this body of work. But this work is really about, I feel it's just finally my expression.
Did you know you were working on the festival? Or did you know certain things wasn't for whatever this other thing was?
I knew I was trying to really figure out my hybrid of sounds that I loved, from R&B, soul, rock, funk, and I knew that I was getting to a place where it was coming together. And so I just didn't realize I had to level up to it.
Right.
And so through the years of experience, through the years of playing, through the years of community, these songs started appearing and they started coming together. And all my friends who are on it, shout out to Brian London, shout out to Tommy Parker, shout out to D-Mile, shout out to Ba, shout out to everybody. And just shout out to, everyone who allowed me to kind of come into their world, and they came into mine, and we created on this. This is a culmination of who I am as a person. And the festival represents a celebration and people coming together, and the songs represent that.
And this is a life process too, though. Huh?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
it really is, because you don't.
Did you write it or did it write itself?
It wrote itself. It really wrote itself, because to fully be yourself takes some time.
Right.
It takes some time,
man.
To really recognize who you are for you. It takes some time.
And you know what? If you would have sat down and said, I'm writing an album, I'm going to give myself 2 weeks. It's not the same texture. You know, like you could do something with a time frame.
Yes.
But if you say, I started this in 2013.
Yeah, I started
There's
this
a difference.
Yeah, it started in 2013. It's crazy to say, because through the years, it finally came together. There was a hybrid of sound that I always wanted to express, because I think sometimes we as Black people, we forget how much music we're responsible for. So we shy away from a lot of sounds, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, and sounds that we own, we created, and that we've almost handed off.
Yeah, man. Rock is a massive part of my sound.
Come on, man.
Guitar is a massive part of my sound. And I was inspired by the greats, just like anybody, from B.B. King to Bo Diddley, all those, that Little Richard, all the early forefathers of what the sound is and what rock and roll is. And so these songs have been my life culminating to now, while going through the heartbreaks of just trying to figure out yourself. Find love, true love, find that person who can accept you for who you are. Find that moment where we all can come together and be like, let's just unplug, enjoy life together, and enjoy this moment.
You enjoy what you do?
I love what I do.
Yeah, man.
And I'm thankful to do what I do. And it took me a long time to be able to stand here and get to this point, to be here amongst y'all. Yeah. So I'm not taking that for granted by any means, and it's only getting better for me.
In 2024, 3 Grammy nominations?
Yes.
In the form of how?
So I write a lot of records and produce a lot of records. So shout out to Tank and the Bangas. They're a band from New Orleans that I work with a lot, and I produced a couple records on their on Tank's spoken word album, and we won a Grammy for Best Spoken Word Album. And then I wrote a lot on, shout out to my bro, Lucky Day and D-Mile. We won, Lucky won for best traditional R&B record for a record that we all wrote together called That's You.
But do you stay away from a lot of that? Are you a Grammy red carpet guy, or
it's funny? I should have probably went to the Grammys this year, because I earned
that
reason.
moment. Yeah,
I had a reason to be there, and I want to be there when it's my name.
Right
there.
Gotcha.
I respect my friends, and I respect what it takes to have that moment, and I'm thankful that they allow me to be in their creative process and to come in with them and to be there with them.
You ever met Ye? Kanye West?
I have, actually.
Okay, because he would have just went up there and got an award.
Yeah, he would have just went up there and he just would have went
got
up
it
there
from anybody. You know what I'm saying?
And taking it,
Yeah.
But you know what, man? Big, it's taking me this long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you got more behind you than in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, as far as like, you don't put the work in.
Yeah, and it just, I had to, that was my path. I don't know why.
Right.
But it was.
And the key word is your.
Yeah, that was my path.
Yes.
And so I'm feeling good about this, though. And I'm feeling good about what's coming up next. And I'm feeling good about I'll be there this next year.
Yeah, man. Hey, let me tell you, Austin, I had a pleasure sitting down with you today, bro.
Man, can I tell you the 2 places I met you through the years? So Janet's 20YO album released. I met you for a quick second. I said, one day I'm going to talk to you. And you were so cool to me, and you were so open. You didn't hush me off or anything.
And it was a Janet event?
Yeah, it was
Damn.
It was her 20YO album release party. This was back. And I was just in my corner, not talking.
Was I inside?
You were inside.
I'm surprised they let me in. I don't know how you was going to
you were
going to let me in.
You were there with her talking about the record. And then I met you. I had worked on the Diddy's The Love album. So I did the Closer to God record with my buddy Tommy Parker and Brian London and Stacey Barth. We did the Closer to God song that Tiana Taylor did. And so when they were having something for Snoop at the house. Him, Andre Harrell, and a bunch of people, and you had stopped in for a quick second, and I met you there.
Damn, how long ago was that?
So the Love album, when we were working on it, that was 2021. But I met you like right before I fully went into mode on that. I was right before that.
Because I remember when the Love album, I remember he invited everybody over to just kind of like listen, and I thought that was a great body of music.
It was amazing. Bro. We started it with Closer to God. That was one of the first ones that was a part of the album. You know, unfortunately, what happened.
Yeah.
You know, it's all, you know, but the music I truly stand behind.
Yeah, and, very much so.
So many great musicians and people worked hard on it. We all worked pretty hard on it. So
you could hear it.
Yeah, I stand by that.
And he took his time with that.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
And he had a different passion for that one.
Yeah, for sure.
And you fast forward to the shit that's going on now, and you know, but the music.
Yeah, it's always the music.
Yeah, man.
And I'm thankful for it.
Thank you, my brother. And I'm telling you, man, like you have gained a lifetime fan.
Thank you, babe.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your spirit, your generosity, everything, bro. And please keep creating.
I will, man. Thank you, y'all, for having me. May I do one more for you because it's dedicated to the city.
Please do.
This is called California.
Come on, come on.
California, heartaches, I'm longing for you. It's your beauty, majesty, sunset, the sky blue. On the coast now, shores now, always keeping me warm. After darkness, a park, I know where I found my heart. In California. California. California, California. Windy roads, bohemian vibes, sexiness, what a real life. Driving down the Pacific Coast high, memories flood, I can't deny. Wish this moment will last all night. Take me back to a different time. Sun-kissed days in the summertime. Let's light it up for California. 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 Ooh. California. From Joni to Jim, we vibe. To Snoop and Dre, we ride. From Oakland, from SD with pride. It's Cali all day, we shine. Kobe, GG for life. Nipsey, E40 all night. Inland the Bay, LA. It's Cali all day, we said California. California. What we say, y'all? What we say? What?
California.
What?
We said
California. One more time we say it. Two more times, we go.
California.
Ooh. One more time.
California.
Nah, I'm not done. We one more time.
California.
Thank you, big boy.
Come on, man. Austin, thank you so much. Austin Brown in the neighborhood, man. The festival, April 23rd, however you get your music.
And we doing April 22nd, the festival comes out. My bad. We start a residency at Andy's, Anderson Pax in Hollywood.
Hello.
April 23rd.
Anderson got a good thing going on.
Yeah, I'll be
over
there every Wednesday starting the 23rd of April. Then we do the 28th of April. Then May 21st. And then May 28th.
Hey, man, so is the festival April 22nd or 23rd as far as the album?
The festival is April 22nd.
Gotcha. And the residency starts
April 23rd at Andy's Big. I would love to have all y'all out if you guys would.
Well, hell, how you going to do California without us?
I mean, come on. I'm going to need it. So
backup singers, dog.
What are you talking
I'll get it all.
California?
You guys can see my band with us, Black Castle.
What do you mean? Give me the guitar. Get the guitar, Lou. We are the band. What are you talking about, man? Come on, man.
Come on, Big.
What are you talking about, man? Give it to me like this.
Let's go, Big.
I'm not even playing.
It sounds good.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
thought
You can
were
see us
playing.
over at Andy's, man. We're going to do a residency.
Come on now.
There it is, man. Austin Brown, thank you for coming into the neighborhood, Big Boy's neighborhood.